News Radio 840 WHAS. Coming up on today's Louisville Real Estate Show, it's a mortgage nightmare for Russell. He may owe more than $4,000 for Jefferson County taxes because someone may have dropped the ball trying to help him buy a home. Also, if you're going on vacation, you need to take pictures inside your house before you leave your home. We'll explain why and what to take pictures of. And Rusty is a hidden star on someone's hidden camera. If you're house shopping, you need to hear Rusty's story. Hi, everybody. Bob Sokoler, owner of the Sokoler team at RE/MAX Properties. Thank you for joining us on this Sunday morning. And with us to answer those questions and more, we've got Chuck Crosby, and Chuck is the head guy over at the Crosby Law Office. They do real estate closings, wills, powers of attorney, foreclosure defense, commissioner sales, and more. You can reach Chuck for any of those and more at 499-6360. Also, Randy Rocky is here from Swan Financial. Now, Randy's group over at Swan shop your mortgage to get you the very best rate, which is a real advantage in today's world. You want to give Randy a call if you're thinking of buying a new or resale home. You can reach him at 645-0736. And if you're thinking of buying a home or selling a home, I would love to help you. When it comes to sell, I've got buyer agents that would come out and help you. But as a seller, I'm the guy who will come out, we'll talk. It's free, no obligation. Come up with a plan, what the home is worth, what maybe you need to do or not do, and save you some money there. All you need to do is call me whether you're here in the Louisville, surrounding counties, or in southern Indiana. 376-5483. That translates into 376-LIVE. Or you can go to bobsellslouisville.com. And also, you can go to WeSellLouisville.com. Click on the top of the page, and you'll be able to enter your information for a free, no obligation estimate of what your home is worth via one of our computer systems. All right, gents. We'll start with Chuck Crosby at the Crosby Law Office. And Rusty sent us an interesting email that everybody needs to hear. Rusty says he's looking for a new home. He was with his agent, and he asked his agent if she knew what the property lines were in the backyard, to which the agent said to him, she says, no, I can make a call. I'll get that information for you. Rusty says 60 seconds later, the agent's phone rings, and it was the listing agent for the house they were in. And Rusty's agent was told where the property lines end by the listing agent on the phone. The problem is Rusty's agent never made a phone call. Rusty is thinking that someone was listening to the conversation. Rusty wants to know, starting with, is that legal? Chuck, we've had this before.
Yes, you can have all those cameras and all the sound devices in your house. You got to be careful what you say, where you go, what you do.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
A homeowner can listen to a conversation between a buyer and a buyer's agent with either of the two of them knowing, because I had heard one party has to know. It's very possible, though, if both parties don't know, you got a problem.
Well, that's when you're recording something surreptitiously. Like if you're on a phone call with me, as long as one of the parties knows that the call is being recorded, then it's okay in Kentucky. Okay, if you have security systems on in your house and you go into somebody's house, well, that's a whole other ball of wax. You got to be careful.
Interesting about that. Okay, so there's a difference. And if you just so happen to be watching your house for security reasons and you overhear a conversation, you're saying it's okay.
Yeah, now that would entirely creep me out.
Yes, no kidding,
I'm not sure I would stick around. Marketing-wise, but like a Ring doorbell, think about that.
Yeah.
You've got somebody coming up, they're talking on your front porch, it's being recorded.
This is happening more than you might think, folks. So and it may not be that you're shopping for a home, wherever you are these days, chances are, what would you say? There's a camera on you or audio being recorded. Yeah. A reminder, if you want to hear and see a rebroadcast of today's show, you can go to LouisvilleAnswers.com. That is LouisvilleAnswers.com. That's a redirect to our YouTube channel where this show and other shows reside. A call I got this week from one of a radio listener, who was listening to our show last week about these screen doors. We were talking, I ordered one, it turns out it was the wrong size. The screens that go over your sliding glass door. And Pamela, thank you for being a listener. She says that those doors are great, amazing for humans, but beware if you have dogs. She says she does, and they go in and out a lot through the doors, and it's wear and tear, and so there could easily be a screen door that wears out. So I'm testing mine for those of you who are wondering or were listening to last week's show. When I get it, I had to reorder a different size. And then when I'll talk about whether they work or not. Again, those are those screens that you put up, and you're able to go in and outside of the sliding glass door. All right, Randy Rocky, Swan Financial, Russell, devastated. Here's the story. In this email, he says he sold his home and bought a new one. He told his mortgage company, by the way, this is not Swan, so just so you know, told his mortgage company he did not want to pay a mortgage payment that was more than what he was paying for his old home. So that's a key point here. So he wanted to stay with the same mortgage payment. So he makes that request. It appears the mortgage company kept the payments lower by eliminating payment of taxes and insurance and escrowing those. Now, fast forward, Russell receives a letter from the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department saying that he owes back taxes and an additional $4,000 in tax penalties for not having paid his taxes. And Chuck, you may want to jump on this one as well. Russell said he was never told that he was not escrowing his taxes, and he's wondering who's at fault. Should the closing attorney have brought up the escrow of taxes and insurance at the closing table? Is the mortgage company responsible for not letting him know that escrow was eliminated? He's trying to appeal to the sheriff's department to get the $4,000 in penalties waived, but so far he's been told. So who's at fault? Where are the problems?
Yeah, well, he signed documents that's saying he was escrow waiving. The problem is, and it is a major problem, is how many loan officers out there are, for example, Louisville, Kentucky, Jefferson County is 1.25% on taxes. So on $300,000, you're going to pay about $3,750 a year. They're putting in a lot of loan officers 0.7%. So now all of a sudden they're acting like it's going to be $2,500. And then homeowners insurance, they might put in $100 when it's $200 or $250. This is a real problem. So taking out the escrow scenario, and then all of a sudden they get a payment that they think is going to be great, and then they show up to Chuck's place or right before it, and their payment's $300-400 higher, or 200 or whatever it might be, and they're like, look, I've not budgeted for this, and it's terrible. I mean, it's such a problem because people, business is a little slower, and people are doing things they shouldn't do. Now, I want to make that very clear. It's not all loan officers, but I see it happen more than I should. And in this situation, he had to see on the documents. I would think, Chuck.
Is there a document?
Yeah. There's more than one document.
Yes.
On the origination side, imagine you're going to get 3-4 different documents at least. You're going to get good faith estimates that clearly show that sort of thing. In a closing, there will be generally 2 to 3 different documents relating to escrows. There'll be a big, says right at the top, waiver of escrows. So you really kind of have to not be paying a whole lot of attention to miss that kind of thing, because it's not just the documents that say you're not doing it. The settlement statement shows you haven't collected it. The CD right on the front, there's a big box that shows where escrows go, and it indicates if there are no escrows. So that's kind of, you got to really be disengaged not to see that. The other thing is the sheriff is going to be sending out several notices. You're going to get the tax bill. It's going to come to you. I know when going over a settlement statement in my office, when we do the escrowing portion, I always say, now what this means is when that tax bill comes out, it's all yours, but you have an escrow account, blah, 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 or since you don't have an escrow account, the whole bill is yours. So it's something that's discussed, but there would have been, one main notice that would have come out, probably 2 additional notices saying, hey, it's delinquent, and the fees rack up. I mean, it's 2% in discount in November, face amount in December, an additional 2% penalty in January, and another 8% in February. And then when it flips over, you're gonna be running up another quarter of the bill on top by the time it runs delinquent. And there's notices that keep coming out all the way to delinquency, which is typically April, May, in that neck of the woods.
Yeah, so it sounds like you're saying that our listener may have overlooked something.
Yeah, you've got to really not be paying attention.
I agree.
And as to getting the sheriff to waive anything, I used to represent him in the collection of taxes, and the common thing to say is, hey, there's only 2 things that are certain in life: death and taxes. And if you don't have a tax bill, you need to pay it.
Oh boy! All right. Well, we wish you the very best on that. It doesn't sound like you're going to have much room to argue. Yeah. A reminder, I've told you in the past, we're really proud of our reviews because that really tells us the tale of whether you're doing your job or not. If you'd like to see what our reviews are, you can go to LouisvilleZillow.com or LouisvilleGoogle.com, where our reviews are, and you'll read about what people say about our sellers and buyers are saying about us. Back over to Chuck Crosby in the Crosby Law Office. Corey, having a problem with water backing up in his backyard of the new home he just purchased. He's hiring a contractor to put in a French drain to get water out of the backyard. And in this email, this is a really interesting question that everyone needs to hear. Corey's wondering how much money should he give the contractor up front, and what should the pay be? How much should he give them percentage-wise? He doesn't want to be taken by one of the contractors. He hears about all that happening with a lot of money changing hands and the contractor never doing work. Chuck Crosby?
Yeah, well, there's no set, give them this, don't give them this. Give them as little as possible until the job's done is kind of my thought. Now, they may very well have I'm not going to do the work unless you give me a quarter up front or a half up front and then pay over a particular period of time. But, it's if you're getting the right guy, though, if you're following your references, you're going to get a clue as to what they want, I would think. And, go from there. Don't just get Jim Bob's House of French Drains. Find somebody that's got a track record.
And to get that track record, which backs us up about a minute, you check reviews.
Absolutely.
Louisville Zillow, Google for us. So follow up on this. Should listeners pay the contractor but never did the work? We had one of those happen to us.
Yeah.
How do you go after tracking down the contractor and getting the money back or having the work done? And realistically, once they're gone out the door, it's going to be very tough tracking them down. Right?
Yeah, it is tough. I mean, you can track them down, but are they going to have anything? Did they sign the contract as in the company name individually? It's just get those reviews. You got to make sure the person's good up front.
Yeah. Unfortunately, once they're out the door, you'll spend a lot of money trying to track them down. They could close shop, open up under another name, and be back in business in a matter of hours.
There's a bunch of guys that'll change their corporate status more often than most people change their underwear. It's just easily done. So you got to know who you're dealing with.
It's so important. Okay, we're taking a break. When we come back, if you're leaving to go on vacation this year, you got to take pictures, not only while you're on vacation, but before you leave. We'll explain what and why. Reminder for you, if you'd like to see the future of photography and what we do with the videos for our listings, you can go to Louisville3D.com. That's Louisville3, the letter 3, and then D.com. Staying with us, Chuck Crosby, owner of the Crosby Law Offices. They do a phenomenal job with real estate closings, creating wills, which is so important, powers of attorney, foreclosure defense, commissioner sales. You can reach Chuck at 499-6360. Also sticking with us, Randy Rocky with Swan Financial. They shop the loan to get you the best rate, 645-0736. And if you're thinking of selling your home now or in the future, I'd love to help you. No home too big, no home too small. Both Louisville, surrounding counties, and southern Indiana. You can reach me, 376-5483 or 376-LIVE, or go to bobsellslouisville.com and fill out the form and hit submit. And for that free no-obligation analysis of what your home is worth, go to WeSellLouisville.com, click on the top of the page, and fill out the information. We're back in a moment on News Radio 840 WHAS. News Radio 840 WHAS, Bob Sokoler, the Louisville Real Estate Show. Thank you, Barbara Corcoran, who's a mentor and a friend, and you've seen her on Shark Tank. She is everything you think. She can be a real hoot, but also very hard when it comes to dealing with business. But we appreciate her mentorship, and she's a great lady. Continuing with us, Randy Rocky. He's the head guy one of the head guys at Swan Financial. They do a great job of getting your loan shop for the best rate. You can reach Randy and his group at 645-0736. Also continuing with us, Chuck Crosby, Crosby Law Offices. They do a great job getting your loan closed, and also other things, including wills, which are so important. You can reach Chuck and his group at 499-6360. And for selling your home or buying a home, I'd love to talk to you. No home too big, no home too small. And this is free for me to come out and talk to you. It's me. I come out. We set an appointment. I'm there as long as you want. We'll talk about the process and how to get your home closed and for the money that you want, and also to the timetable that you want. You can reach me at 376-5483, or you can go to bobsellslouisville.com, fill out the form. And there's also, for that free no obligation analysis of what your home is worth, you can go to WeSellLouisville.com. Click on the top of the page. All right. I take it, Randy, Chuck, you're going on vacation fairly soon, maybe?
Hmm.
Maybe?
Well,
Okay.
later in the year.
Yeah, okay. So you're going to be taking pictures. I'm sure it's so easy now with our smartphones, but
Right.
there's some things you want to shoot pictures of before you leave because it's going to be very telling for you when you're on vacation and you think, what did we leave the thermostat set at for the house? So take a picture of that before you leave. Make sure the appliances are off and unplugged. Take a picture of it so you've got that with you. You can rest assured that you did turn them off, right? No, it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Are the doors and windows locked? You could try taking pictures of those. The water main turn offs. You might want to think about turning off the water and take a picture of it. Make sure you know where that is. You want to take a picture of valuables and electronics just in case something happens. You'll have pictures to talk to the insurance company about. Also, garage door, take a picture of that. Make sure it's locked and closed. If you got a door opener, you don't have to worry so much about it locked, but the fact that it's closed. I know this sounds like a lot of work for just a little payoff, but it's always good to have that. Also, make sure the security system is set. Take a picture of that. Take a picture of the pets and plants if you've got those and there's no one watching the home. So you can remind, even if there is somebody watching the home, you can remind that pet watcher or house watcher what they need to be doing on a regular basis just to check up. Plus, I'm telling you, I've gone through this. And then as a bonus tip, if your home is vacant and it's listed or will be soon, photos can also help in coordinating with any of your agents that are out there, showing the home is secure, prepping for showings while you're away. So that's some of the things you should be taking pictures of to have in the event you're going on vacation, which a lot of people are this year. We go back over to Randy Rocky at Swan Financial. Manny is divorced, but now applying for a mortgage for a new home. And he's wondering, Randy, in this email that he sent us, can a lender ask him about his former spouse for credit purposes? Interesting.
For credit purposes, in what way?
In applying for a mortgage, I'm just basing this on the email, but I presume when I first read this, he's applying for a mortgage and he's wondering, I guess he's getting asked about different parts of the mortgage application, and he's been asked about the former spouse and credit, and that's all he went into. Is there a note?
No.
Okay.
Yes. It's all about him at that point. If he's divorced now, when it does come into play, he has to show a divorce decree, which Mr. Crosby knows about. He's seen those before, I'm sure in his practice, and then it will tell if he owns, child support or alimony, or if he's receiving it. So that's the only thing it really plays on in a divorce situation.
Okay, so if the mortgage lender is asking, then he can say, I have no knowledge, no report. Is that what I'm hearing you say, since it's not germane to the mortgage application?
Right. It's not if it's for his spouse or his ex-spouse. Right. Yeah. But the one thing that he will have to definitely show is a divorce decree, because we have to figure out if for debt to income reasons, if he's receiving money or paying money or nothing at all. If it's
because we've had to get involved before where determining what the court says child support is supposed to be, that kind of thing. I imagine if they had joint debt that wasn't yet extinguished, like they owned a car, they get divorced, they haven't, paid the car off or changed title or anything like that. I know occasionally I've been asked to figure out if the person owns joint property with them. But usually it just kind of boils down to what's in the settlement agreement relating to child support, and that relates to income.
Okay. All right. Hopefully that will help. Over to Chuck Crosby. Alicia writes in, she signed a contract with a large moving company to move out of their home when it closed, and that happened this past week in the Shelbyville area. When they signed, they were told all they needed to do was call, and the moving company would set up the moving truck to be there. When they had a closing date, Elisa called the moving company, was told that the first moving truck available wouldn't be until July 1st, so a couple of weeks away. Lisa scrambled now, found another firm to do the moving, but she's wondering what action she could take against the very first moving company for the aggravation it caused, and I guess skipping a couple of heartbeats. Is there anything she can do?
Not really, other than the typical, tell your friends, tell people, give them bad reviews on social media, Better Business Bureau, that kind of thing. But legal action, there was really no damage. The aggravation is a hypothetical kind of damage. Everybody says, oh, emotional stress, et cetera, et cetera. You see that on the TV. But you can't conceive of the hoops you have to jump through before you can actually get a court to agree that that's a real damage. And in a case like this, it's not. Real damage in this case is how much money are you out? And that's what it generally boils down to. But that's, social media is out there for this particular purpose.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right about that. By the way, and we should point out, this is the takeaway from this question is if you're moving, call your moving company and make sure that the truck is going to be there that you heard on the radio. The one more moving company didn't have a truck available. Just confirm.
Yeah. And the question is how soon before closing do you know that it's going to close? A lot of times that gets really pushed up onto the very edge.
Yeah.
I know with my mother when we moved her down, we were on the phone with these folks on the regular just to make sure everything's set.
All right. Well, it can back up until the last couple of days, so you're absolutely right.
It can.
A reminder, did you know, folks, that we have a newsletter we send out, and you can actually sign up for it. It goes out twice a month. Go to welovelouisville.com. That's welovelouisville.com, and just fill out the basic information. We will not spam you, but it gives you some good information. We do a number of stories every month about moving, renting, mortgages, closings, and anything dealing with real estate. Chuck Crosby will be back to you in a minute. First, we go to Randy Rocky. Joshua sent us an email saying he's renting an apartment right now, and the lease is up in July. I guess that's July, the end of July. He would like to buy a house, but he doesn't know how long does it actually take, start to finish, buying a house. So let's start, Randy, on your end from the moment you make mortgage application. How long does it take?
It can take as little as 30 minutes. Or as much as, a week or so, depending on the complication of the file and also the cooperation from the person buying the home on getting this documentation to get an approval.
Okay, so 30 minutes and what's the high end on that?
Usually no more than a week, as we're back and forth and finally say, hey, we can approve you or we cannot approve you.
Got it. And from looking for a home, that also is dependent upon what you're looking for. So just to help you on this, Joshua, you can go as quickly as one house. My record, my buddy Jeff, who became a friend, 75 homes in one outing over, I think it was 3-day period. But he found the home he loved. He's still in it. It's like 20 years later, I think. So that depends. And then from once you find the house, again, a day to weeks, to get that mortgage, everything else done, and to getting to Chuck's office and his table for closing, I could tell you 30 to 45 days is typical, 60 days a little longer. And Chuck, for you, how long in advance do you need to get the paperwork to be able to get ready to close it?
Well, we're always asked that question. I've done closings I think my record is somewhere under 12 hours.
Oh.
But that was an extreme scenario. But in any event, we get a title order a day, 2 days, we can get a title back. Depending what's on that title, drags it out. If we find out that there's 20 years spread across the United States, it may take longer. If there's a bunch of liens, let's say our person's last name is very common, and there's a bunch of liens against a person with that same name, we've got to weed out and find whose liens those actually are. So we can get the paperwork fairly quickly. How quickly it progresses from there is based on what's on the title. But in the typical course of business, 2-3 days.
What's the worst case scenario, just out of curiosity, as I wrap things up?
It never closes. Where you find a title problem that can't be solved. Now, in the time that I've been here, doing this about 36 years, I've run across maybe 5-6 titles that cannot be cleaned up whatsoever. Just completely dead in the water. Now usually you have liens and things like that, and people don't want to pay them off or whatever, so the deal dies. But those are things that can be resolved. There's a resolution in the future with the statute of limitations. But when you try and create some sort of magic trust under the laws of God and the organic constitution, you can really bungle up some ownership for real estate.
I remember not too long ago, as again we wrap things up here, there was one deal that we were working where the title had a break in the chain.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
and Chuck
hate
went
seeing
above
that.
and beyond. Yeah, he went above and beyond, and he got it done. Luckily, we had the owner, my client, the seller, had owner's title insurance,
Yeah.
so it covered the problem. But
Oh, yeah, I remember that one.
yeah.
Got to drive out to the South End a
Yes,
couple
you did.
times. Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So are you telling me you went to 75 houses in 3 days? Y'all
Yeah.
actually visited physically?
Yeah. So
That's impressive.
Jeff knew exactly what he was looking for. His wife wasn't with him, but what we would do is we'd go in the front door, and within a matter of a second or two, he knew if it fit just the feel for what he was looking for. And he said, "Nope, this is not it." We'd go. So yeah, 75 in 3 days. Yeah, it was a heck
Yeah.
of a run. But he got a great house, and he's still there. So give him credit for
Awesome.
knowing what he wanted. We are out of time. My thanks to Randy Rocky, who is one of the head guys at Swan Financial, where they shop your loan to get you the best rate. You can reach Randy to get on his books, to get going, to buy a house. His number is 6450736. Also, thank you to Chuck Crosby, who is the head guy over at the Crosby Law Offices. They do a great job getting your loan closed. As we say, they dots the I's, crosses the T, but he also does a lot of other legal things, including wills, powers of attorney, foreclosure defense, commissioner sale. Chuck says if he doesn't do it, he knows someone who does. And you can reach Chuck at 499-6360. And if you're thinking of selling your home and also buying your home, I'd love to talk to you. If you're selling, it's me. I'll come out free, no obligation. We talk as long as you want and about the process, the market conditions, what to do to get the home sold, pricing, anything you have a question about, I'll try to have an answer for you. And you can reach me. And again, no home too big, no home too small. And I work both in Louisville, Southern Indiana, and surrounding areas. My direct cell, 376-5483, which translates into 376 Live. You can also go to bobsellslouisville.com and fill out the form and hit submit. And also, you can get a free instant analysis of what your home is worth by going to WeSellLouisville.com. A reminder, LouisvilleAnswers.com is where you go if you want to see a rebroadcast of this show. And that's on YouTube. It's easy to get to, LouisvilleAnswers.com. And next week, 5 pests to look out for this summer and how to protect your home. 5 of them that are going to be coming our way. We're out of time. See you next Sunday on News Radio 840 WHAS.